all Fernando Mitch. He's a mile in front of the Australian Cup, and he's going to bolt it in.
Hello and welcome to the Australian Cup vodcast. It's my first ever vodcast. Jason Bonnington, Bon Banger Bonners, I am alive, and it's great to be joined by a couple of old mates. The OG gang are back. Corey, are you part of the OG gang? Pretty much. Corey Smith from the Meadows. How are you, my friend? Australian Cup night 2 and a couple of changes, but great night 1 and can't wait to preview night 2.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute ripper. We were nice and excited last week coming into the 3-week series and found a couple of winners as well, which was good to see. But I'm glad we've had trade week. We've given Jim the arse because he said, I want to come on, but I want to come on in a Bintang singlet. And I said, absolutely no way, we're trading him out.
I think his best day is physically maybe behind. I'm not here to... Mine might be as well. But when Jimmy was up taking that high mark, I'm not sure anymore. Mitch Ebeyer, the Peacock, how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, mate, very well. Great to be joined by yourself and Corey. And I tell you what the trade reminds me of, a bit of the Rudy Gobert, sort of we get Bon and draft picks and we give Jim away and they can have Rudy Gobert. It's a very one-sided trade, but we've got the big gun back in and looking forward to it. Plenty of great racing. Last week was fantastic. And
cannot wait to get started. Did you get winners as well last week?
Yeah, we all found Valpolicella and I'm surprised it didn't start about $1.40 after the three of us had tipped it last week.
You've got shares in Valpolicella, surely. That's a long-term love affair.
I don't know if the audio goes back that far to after its first start, but I'd like to say I gave it enough of a push that I might have a part ownership.
If anybody's going to tap a producer and find that audio,
it'll be
you, Peacock.
Well done.
Looking forward to going through a few replays over the last few weeks to try and find the winners for a great night. Now, we've got a number of big races. So we've got the semi-finals of the Australian Cup, but we've also got the heats of the Fanta Bale Stayers and a prelude of the Rookie Rebel as well. So do you want to get stuck in, Corey?
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute ripper. We've got 2 heats of the Fanta Bale Stayers, or I've just shortened it a little bit. It's now just the Sportsbet Fanta Bale. The 2 heats are absolute rippers. We see 6 of the dogs that were in the Zoom top last week managed to find their way through. Mrs. Avenger and Valpolicella not there for varying reasons, but they're going to be rippers. We'll also have 4 semi-finals of the Australian Cup where the whole 8 Temley dogs would have been eligible, but unfortunately Transponder and Big Energy came out with a few injuries there, so we won't see them in the semi-finals, but hopefully we'll see them back on a racetrack soon, and I reckon it's going to be an absolute ripper. The top 2 will go through from the Australian Cup semi-finals, and the top 4 will go through from the Fanta Bale through to the finals next week, and I'm nice and excited.
Can you abbreviate it any further? Sportsbet Fanta? Sportsbet Sunkiss?
I didn't know the naming rights are down to Corey here. I reckon that's fantastic. I tell you what,
Sportsbet Fanta Bale Stayers final doesn't exactly.
I reckon
look great on paper. So
when it comes down to naming,
words.
I reckon when it comes down to naming, rack off the word final. We don't need that in there. It's just, we know it's a big race. There's prize money out for grabs. Rack off final. I don't know why they always throw it in. It just doesn't flow.
You greyhound people have got no idea. I mean, I'm from the trots where you have the Alabar Vic Bred Super Series semi-final for the 3-year-old colts and geldings trotters. So, I know how to do it. Let's get to our first replay. This is Explicit winning the Temley, and I'll tell you what, this was a dominant performance. I'll go to you, Peacock, first of all.
Yeah, carved across to the fence. Once it got here, it was awfully hard to beat. A greyhound that I spoke about last week that's young. It is a greyhound that is just chasing its absolute heart out at the moment. It doesn't know anything about coming up against big guns like that. It's raced against some good quality dogs so far, but this was its biggest test. Once it was out in front, well, good luck trying to reel it in when you're hitting 70 kilometres an hour quicker down the back and running 29.60 odd overall. It's hard to beat, and he could be the next big thing going forward in the industry. He is a genuine star.
Yeah, he is. He's special. He had to beat a special field as well. He was up in class, as you alluded to, and he did it in a really impressive fashion. The splits that he put down, 5 flat, 1750 odd down the back, that it's just unheard of to be able to do that at your first crack at Group 1 level. But Explicit, he's a star, and there's, I reckon, a couple of stars behind him as well. Mapunga Shine was a really good run. Alpha Zulu was a good run. We'll see those 3 into the semi-finals, and there's a few little question marks on a few of the dogs that are moving forward. We saw Morton crash and bash. It was a little bit wayward in the early stages. We saw Scalacci nail the start and then get crunched. There's a lot of question marks from that race.
Little spoiler alert, probably. We'll all be tipping Explicit in its...
Probably.
See, we won't get there. We'll talk about that later. But I'll tell you what, draws perfectly should crash down, and you can see he just wanted brilliant early speed and just wanted to go straight to the rail.
Yeah, I'd love to see what it would do off box 1, because I reckon it's...
Might jump the fence.
You see with the lures nowadays that there's the 2 fluffies there on the arm, and they seem to want to get to that second one. So box 1 is kind of in line with the first, so I wonder whether you try and shift off, but box 2 is just going to get the beautiful run to the fence, and I don't think he'll look to carve across. He'll just go straight to the front and could break 5 to the first marker pretty comfortably, and they won't see him after that.
If you're more of a sport lover, or maybe you're into the thoroughbreds or harness racing or something else, there's your first glossary of terms. 2 fluffies. We'll talk about that at the end. We'll let you know what 2 fluffies are a little bit later, but I really love the run of Alpha.
You could say something else
as well.
years ago, but no.
But we can say fluffies, that's the main thing. Right, let's get stuck into our second replay, and this is, well, Valpolicella will not be going around this Saturday night, but dominant here. And who are the runs to watch from this, Corey Smith, from the Meadows?
Well, you see Mrs. Avenger and Valpolicella lead here. Neither of those two will be in the race. Zulu Blast, who was box 6 on this occasion, bombed it. His first 2 cracks at the staying over the weeks prior, he set really nice sectionals. So I think he'll jump better this week, and he'll be hard to run down, of course, in his semi-final. But Valpolicella, what a star. And you'll see the run here from Zohar Bale as well, who was just absolutely enormous in the latter stages. Leonard Jinx was just absolutely luckless. There was Palawa King was one of the biggest runs you'll ever see, wasn't he?
It was scary. If you could actually rewind it, I'm not going to tell him to, but if you actually rewind it, he got smoked on the first turn. He's run third there, probably lost 14 lengths in the run.
And first start for the year as well.
Yeah,
so,
honestly, his
sectionals, his data, off the charts. But I reckon he'll be cherry ripe for this Saturday night, and probably even better for the final if he can find his way through.
You just need a first mention of data, by the way, so that's it. We can tick that one off.
You just need a price about what's his name, the big fella Palawa King, because.
He does every time, pretty much.
Yeah, but you know you're going to find trouble. He's that sort of dog. Unless the seas part and he gets that run, he's got so much ability. But if there's trouble, he will find it. And you don't want to take a short price about him because you're going to be holding your breath for the majority of the way.
All right, Mr. Sportsbet, give us a look at the market for the Fanta Bale Sportsbet Fanta Bale Sunkissed. No, just the Sportsbet Fanta Bale I think we're going to have a look at.
Yeah, let's talk about this market here. Vega Black, $41. Lena Jinx, so I think we're all pretty keen on $3.60. Apache Shout, $18. Redeemer Blue, number 4 at $5.50. Misty Black, number 5 at $18. Your favourite of the race, Zulu Blast, box 6, $2.30. Seems its race, when there's not much speed in it, should get to the front pretty easy. 7 Moraine Susie at $4.50 and Osana Bale at $21. Your reserves, number 9, Maximum Moreland. Interesting to see the rise in trip straight away, $26. And Big Smoke Fox at $101. But for me, I'm Lena Jinx. I think drawn well down near the fence. The run the other day was good. Can show enough early speed to put itself in the race. And I think that there's enough back markers in that race to suggest that it won't get too far back. But I do think that Alpha Zulu is probably like the leader in a race that doesn't look like a lot of speed.
This is heat 1 of 2, of course. I'm with Lena Jinx as well, but there seems to be a fair bit of early space for a staying event here, I reckon, Corey.
Yeah, it's an intriguing race, this one. I think Zulu Blast will lead this. That's the way I'm seeing this race from box number 6. He's got to nail it, though. We saw in the Zoom top he didn't nail the start. We'd mentioned that off the top, but if he can, he's going to be really hard to run down. But I'm with Lena Jinx. I think box 2 will suit her really well. She'll have her second crack under race conditions at the Meadows. She's trialled a couple of times as well. I think from box 2, she'll be able to weave her way through the field. She'll have improved race sense. She'll know the Meadows a little bit better, and I think she's going to be really hard to beat.
Any other winning chance, like outside the top 2 that we've already spoken about?
Moraine Susie, if she can get the card across with the 6. But quick little fact, the Lena Jinx had 6 wins in its career. Any idea what boxes they're from?
No, I don't, actually.
Only one from boxes 1, 2, 3. Never one from wider than 3. So
there's good news there.
Seems to be drawn beautifully in box 2. You don't want it much wider than that.
Redeemer Blue?
Can run a good race, but it's probably a little bit under the odds, I think, in this sort of field.
Now, that's the stronger of the 2, Heath?
I reckon.
Geez, I tell you what, you almost harmonised even, you 2 boys. That was beautiful. Okay, well, let's get to Heat 2, the market for that, I reckon, Peacock, because I thought that was a stronger one, but take us through the market for Heat 2 of the Fanta Bale, Sportsbet Fanta Bale.
Yeah, they're both so different, I think, the way it's very hard to assess both of them, but let's look at this one. Tan and Black, $26, number 1. Number 2, Big Susie, coming back from Albion Park, $10. 3, Palawa King, $2.20, and your favourite, 4, Hit Top Gear, $31. 5, Drill Sergeant, seems some value there at $6.50. This greyhound's flying at the moment. 6, Zinzan Chopper at $19. 7, Zohar Bale, $2.35. I don't think I'd want any piece of that. Dewana Sensation, $19 off box 8. And once again, your reserves, Maximum Moreland, $51. And number 10, Big Smoke Fox, shows the strength of this race, I think, is just a slight bit better. That Maximum Moreland is $51 as reserve here, $26 in the first heat. I don't want any part of Zohar Bale at $2.35, and I think everyone will just be piling into Palawa King off box 3. The run the other day was huge, and it is a good field. A bit more speed here. He'll just get a nice run in the race.
Box 3's good. I mean, there's no ideal box, but box 3's as good as you could want for Palawa King.
I definitely think so. I think box draws don't matter too much for a greyhound like Palawa King, who he's going to get back in the field. He's going to be charging home. He's got really good race sense. Yes, he can run up some bums from time to time, but he has just such an engine. He's arguably the best stayer in this series with Valpolicella heading back to Queensland. But I'm with Palawa King. I think he's going to be really hard to beat. Zohar Bale, maybe he's a little bit under the odds, but his run in the Zoom top was enormous from a wide draw as well. So there's plenty of chances in this. You've got the Group 1 winner in Drill Sergeant. Big Susie's been in phenomenal form. This is a great race, but Palawa King's mine. Right,
we're about to get stuck into the semi-finals for the Australian Cup, but before we do, it's a party pup. We're all with Palawa King, right?
We are, yeah.
But we're looking at $2.20 right now. Do we take the $2.20, or will it get any longer than that, Corey?
No.
No, I think that's about the right
What about
price.
you, Mitch? What do you reckon? So we take the $2.20.
I reckon. I'm taking the 220 about Palawa King. And for those out there, breeding fanatics, go and have a look at the breeding on this thing. Feral Frankie out of Maximum DOS. You wouldn't say that you need the best bred broody to throw a group stayer. 670,000 to his name. Maximum DOS, he was well bred, but on the track didn't really perform. But he's a freak.
Did you agree? 220, good enough?
Yeah, I think it's about the right price. I wouldn't be stumbling into it too early, or I don't think it really matters when you bet. I think you'll get around 220. I think you'll be between $2 and $2.50 come start time. So, I think you can take 220 if you want to bet early.
All markets provided by Sportsbet. Let's get stuck into a market now for the first of the 4 semi-finals of the Australian Cup. Let's go, Mitch Ebeyer, the Peacock. Give us the market.
This is a great race. This is probably one of the stronger ones, I would have thought. There's a bit of speed going on here. Number 1, Ike Bale, $6 to Morton. Finally draws a box draw. The Sharps must have put in a nice little word there, $2.70. 3 Storm Stroller, $9.50. It is well drawn also once you get down to the fence. 4 American Queen in some form at the moment, $6.50. 5 Fred Rose, $14. 6 Alpha Zulu, $3.60. 7 Mapunga Award, $8. And 8 Rev Rose at $26. Your reserves are Stomping number 9 at $7 and Nature Strip 10 at $7. Morton is your favourite, just over Alpha Zulu, but very strong race. I think Greyhound's drawn where they want to be. I'd say that this race will be pretty clean unless Storm Stroller goes hard to the fence. But every Greyhound should get a fair crack at him here, and I think this is Morton.
It is Morton in the Gold Bullion from box number 5, one of the biggest runs that you will see. He's back in the field. It's an absolute ripper, obviously, away from the home deck. He's up in Albion Park here in Group 1 company, but you just watch him storm all over the top of them. All Natural, who's a very good greyhound in his own right, leads them up, and even John Brash, unfortunately...
Want to play the audio?
No, we'll leave the audio alone because he declared All Natural, but you just see Morton come from the clouds and get over the top of him. It was an impressive performance. You and I were on radio at the time together going absolutely bonkers, but that just goes to show the sort of greyhound that Morton is.
I want to hear the audio.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I want to hear the audio.
I'll tell you how it goes. It goes,
right.
All Natural takes out the Bullion, beats Morton. That was it. That's what he went with, straight away off the top.
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, geez, it was. Yeah.
So who won? Yeah, Morton won. Rightio, tips. We'll start with you, Corey Smith from the Meadows.
I'm not going with Morton. I'm a little bit concerned about the draw with Storm Stroller on his outside. It wants to get to the rail, so I'm going with a greyhound that's a little bit further out in the odds, and with Mapunga Award here from box number 7. I think he might be able to just melt into the race, kind of 4th, 5th, middle of the track sort of thing, and be able to run over the top of them. He's a seriously classy greyhound. While we haven't seen the best of him yet, he's only young. He's not even 2 years old yet. I think Mapunga Award is right up to this class of racing, and even if you can't get the job done through this series, he's worth chucking in your black book and following him because he's an absolute star.
I reckon this semi-final is one where you do go for a bit of value. I did the switchy swappy last night when I was doing the form. I had Mapunga Award on top, but I've got American Queen also at a price you're getting $6.50. So situation where you can back them both, $6.50 and $8, and then we'll find out what this fella likes. What are you into, Peacock?
Yeah, I'm with Morton. I just think that the speed in 1 and 3, both of them go around 5.05 early. Ike Bale will not leave the fence. It loves the fence. Storm Stroller, it wants to get down to the fence. I don't think Morton can go quick enough to get hampered by them. I just don't think he's a 505 sort of dog. He's probably 5'10 to 5'15, puts him a length behind him, gives him a nice run. The one who probably does get the best run in the race is the 4 American Queen. 33.99 at Sandown, over 600 shows it strong. It's gone 29.27 there. The Meadows last week, 29.89. Rundown and Birdo in flying touch at the moment. If my numbers would be 2 to beat 4.
Well, we're not even talking about Alpha Zulu, who ran second in Group 1 last week, has box number 6 here, can nail the start. Like, this is a high-quality race. It's an absolute ripper.
Yeah, Alpha Zulu is in my thoughts as well. We'll get to the market for semi-final 2, but buyer beware caveat emptor, because a couple of the reserves there, both in the market. Stomping in particular, I would have thought if it gets a run, can change the way the race, depending on where it might box.
Well, with speed,
change the entire way it goes. The race is run.
Well, with speed in this race, that if he was to get a run in that race, he's a genuine chance to run him down. Here's
the market, Peacock. Take it away.
Tim Zoo draws box 1 and awfully hard to beat. $2.15. Number 2, Orly Bale, $17. We'll have admirers at that price, I reckon. 3, Mapunga Smoky, $10. 4, Shimmer Current, $4.50. 5, Past the Buck at $3.50. 6, Buddy Manali, $13. 7, Idolise at 11s. And Silky Sauce, number 8 at $81. A little shout out to my mates who part own it. Well done to them for making this field. Your reserves, number 9, Zippy Tesla at $26. And Trooper Tears, the 10 at $10. Tim Zoo, hard to beat off box 1. Is your favourite, $2.15. Past the Buck, who did win last week at $3.50. And Shimmer Current at $4.50. They're your top 3 in the market.
And here's Past the Buck, winning last time out. Very good win, second favourite, $3.50. And you can see
box 6
just sort of gets into a nice position here in just a slight check, but this was a very good performance, Corey.
Yeah, exactly right. I think the thing that you need to take note of is the fact that Past the Buck didn't lead, but he still went 5.02 early. There's not too many greyhounds that can go quicker than 5.02. He's done that here. He's had to work hard. He's had to go around. But his, again, I'm going to mention it again, data was really good from this race. And I spoke to Anthony Azzopardi earlier in the week on radio, and he said that Past the Buck maybe came into it a little bit underdone and he'll get better as the series progresses. And there's a few dogs, I think, with being a 3-week series that'll be like that. And I think Past the Buck will have plenty of improvement. He's just got to nail that start, because Idolise, one of my absolute favourites, will be on his outside, on his hammer in the early stages. But if he goes 5.02, he's going to be hard to beat.
Who do you like?
Past the Buck.
I'll tell you what, the race sense is what I loved. Wanted to go to the inside, couldn't get the gap, then decided to go to there. And we see so many, I mean, the top class greyhounds normally have that race sense, but didn't get what you wanted at the start, and just probably would have won more impressively if that gap had been there early. I'm actually with a little bit of value here in Shimmer Current. What do you like, Peacock?
I'm with the 1, Tim Zoo, but Past the Buck the other day, 30.06, probably went off heels 3 times max, and I'd probably say lost 3 to 4 lengths. It's a greyhound that relies on speed. We know that. It needs to be out in front, but I thought it was a really good run. What did Riendo go to the first marker? That is
496 or 497, something like
flying.
that. Absolutely humming along was Riendo. Didn't quite get the 500, but I reckon with a bit more seasoning, it might be a greyhound to follow.
I'm with Tim Zoo, drawn beautifully off box 1. It's only 1-1.
What does it get to? Where is it in the run?
Out in front. I reckon go straight to the front. Tim Zoo, off the draw. 5.15 last week, but that was off box 3. Here Comes Millie was the ground that beat in there. There was a bit of speed in that race, but there's just not enough speed coming across in Orly Bale, Mapunga Smoky, and Shimmer Current likes to hold a line off the track. So Tim Zoo for me just gets a run.
I'll be risking it. 7 and 8 out wide, come across Past the Buck. I think could get into an awkward spot. Right, let's get stuck into the market for the third of the 4 semi-finals of the Australian Cup. Peacock, it's your go again. It's 1 to 10, and once again, we've got Heaven and Bale and Aston Costello down there, but take us through 1 to 8.
Yeah, this is a pretty decent field. I think there's some big names in here. Launch Code, drawn beautifully. Box 1, $5. 2 Explicit, $1.60 and favourite. 3 Piscopo Bale, $10. 4 Fernando Phil, also at $10. 5 Here Comes Millie, also 10s. 6 Isles Entity, $14. 7 Mapunga Shine at $10 and 8 UD to Bale, $81. If you like the reserves, number 9 Heffen and Bale at $12s and Aston Costello the 10 at $101. Launch Code probably hasn't seen a draw like this for a little while, but Explicit, so hard to go past, and I think $1.60 is probably bordering on generous after its performance the other day. It's a drop in class field-wise and draws favourably.
We've already seen Explicit, so here is Mapunga Shine. winning the Silver Chief, going back a little way. Corey, take us through it.
Yeah, box number 3 here. This is a cracking race. We see Rocket Riot run second and Morton back in third, who was a massive run as well. To be beating the quality of greyhounds that were in this field and then stepping up from there and managing to run a really nice race in the Temley that we saw earlier, I think this greyhound has massive upside. He's not even 2 years old, Mapunga Shine, and he's putting it all together. He's a complete race dog for mine. He can put himself in a position, he can run on, he's got decent race sense. He's a greyhound that we should be following moving forward, and that Silver Chief win was really, really impressive on Phoenix night.
So if you're with Explicit on top,
yep.
How do we make money? Who's the best value place getter?
I'm with Explicit on top. I think with Peacock, the $1.60, I don't mind that. I think that's a reasonable enough price to take. But Mapunga Shine at $10, we've just seen him place in a Group 1 last week. I know box 7's not ideal, but Isles Entity might punch across and give him a card into the race. So if I was looking for a value selection, it'd be Mapunga Shine, but Explicit's going to be incredibly hard to beat.
Mine would be a greyhound who didn't like to get into the action for a fair while, Piscopo Bale, but it has absolutely worked it out.
I'm with you. This thing flew home last time out. 30-23. I'd love to see its run home time. Came from last. Should get a nice run down towards the fence. I think it and Fernando Phil are the two that I'd have in the exacta with it.
I'd just be having Piscopo Bale to run a place. But Party Pup, Explicit on top, I would imagine.
To win to beat Piscopo Bale, Fernando Phil.
And just very quickly, so $1.60 about Explicit, $2.20 Palawa King. Which one? You only get one.
Oh, I'll tell you what one is.
$1.60.
I'll tell you the one. It's the multi.
Yeah, multi.
It's the multi.
I'll take Explicit.
Sit with mates.
I'll take Explicit mainly because I think he'll be leading, whereas Palawa King's going to need a little bit of luck. So that's probably the difference in the prices. But Explicit might be better value at $1.60, which doesn't make a huge amount of sense.
One's going to be way in front and just dominating, and the other one you're hoping. So I'll be going the $1.60 Explicit.
You try and explain to people at times, and you say, like, you tip something at $1.70, $1.80, and, they might say,
well, that's easy, mate. That's the easiest thing in the world.
And it's too short. It's too short. There's no value there. But you know what? It's probably a $1.30 chance in this field, so $1.60, $1.70 is value.
Well, I'd love to explain this. So $1.60 means a 57% chance of winning, right? No, it's actually like 63%. I'd say it's got an 85% chance of winning.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's massive.
Yeah.
It's massive over.
Yeah, huge. Yep.
Mark it again, please. Peacock, you're flying. You're doing a magnificent job. Don't stop now.
This is the fourth Scalacci, box 1, where he wants to be, $4.50, 2 Tangela Bell. I thought it was a really good run last week, $10, 3 Umberto, $5.50, 4 Cane Bale at $3.20, and your second favourite, 5 Hector Fawley, is your favourite at $3, 6 Tigalong Flyer, $81, the 7 My Magic Man, geez, he was quick last week for the first few sectionals, tied up bad at $10, and 8 Fabs Vegetable at $26, your reserves 9 Exalted, $10, and the 10 Ethanol Volume at 26s. Scalacci, drawn beautifully, box 1. Umberto, speed, $5.50, box 3. It really makes for a race in 2, I reckon. 4 and 5. Cane Bale, Hector Fawley are the 2 that will have the sitting ducks out in front.
I agree, and I reckon whichever one wins the start out of the 2 will be winning. But here's Hector Fawley winning its Australian Cup heat last weekend, Corey.
Yeah, this was Hector Fawley from box 5, but you see out in front My Magic Man, the 7, who he will face again from the exact same draws, which is a weird little anomaly. But My Magic Man, he'll tie up a little bit, but that's mainly because Hector Fawley is absolutely flying. Some of the sectionals that Hector Fawley was putting together were just insane, and he put down the fastest time of the year, second fastest time over the last 18 months at the Meadows, winning this race, and he can do it again from box 5. And this is a race to me that has so many defined runners in it. And when I say that, I mean there's greyhounds like your Umbertos, your My Magic Mans, even your Scalaccis that are going to need to lead to win, and then you've got your Cane Bales, your Hector Fawleys, who are going to need to come from back off the pace and weave their way through. So it's a really intriguing race. I think all the leaders will cut themselves in half and take each other on, and this sets up, as the Peacock suggested, for Cane Bale and Hector Fawley. Got a slight leaning to Hector Fawley, but I think Cane Bale is going to be hard to beat as well, but Hector Fawley on top for me.
Is this another party? But I'm with Hector Fawley as well, but I do reckon who'll be in front of who out of the 4 and the 5 in the run?
I think Hector Fawley, the way he's been beginning lately, I think he might be able to lead Cane Bale.
You're Cane Bale, aren't you?
No, I think that Hector Fawley can lead him. It just depends on who comes across from the outside. If My Magic Man clips Hector, then Cane might get the run at him. But I tell you, I think there's one that you should be including in exotics, and it's 8 Fabs Vegetable.
Yes, big run.
has success from wide draws. I think it made a Melbourne Cup from a wide draw. It will get a card across from my Magic Man and is strong as well. So it's probably in the camp of Kane Bale and Hector Fawley, but just on a bit of a lesser level.
So you're with Hector?
Hector Fawley, it is a three-way party.
This is going to be the easiest punting night of all time. 80 pups throughout. This is so easy. We didn't get to see the Kane Bale replay, but I loved it. Got beaten out. And it just hunted that spot and wanted it and owned it and was able to get through. If it does that again, it'll be very hard to beat. It's time to get stuck into some all-in markets. These are always tricky. I mean, we've got explicit, apparently. We were discussing off air, $5 for the Phoenix. We might not go with that. That seems a little bit short, but these are a little bit closer to home. Peacock, Fanta Bale Superstars, or the Sportsbet Fanta Bale, even though it's got Superstars there. Take us through the all-in market.
There's no final on the end of that one, but Palawa King, $3.30. Zohar Bale, $3.50. Massive unders for me. Zulu Blast, $4. Lena Jinx is the fourth line at $7. Maureen Susie, $9.50. Redeemer Blue, $12. Drill Sergeant at $15. And Big Susie, $26. There's only two that I'd want to take in this market. Palawa King and Lena Jinx. That is the only two. I like Lena Jinx at the $7. I think, shows a little bit of value there. It's going to get a run in the race, as we saw the box stats earlier. But that's your market for the Super Stayers over the 730 metres.
You can bet even more confidently into the all-in market here because of how many you're going to get through.
Yeah, 4
It's a little bit different to the Australian Cup where you're only going to get the top two from the 4 qualifiers. I thought Lena Jinx, $7. You're just looking at the value, right?
Yep.
Palawa King's the one to beat, but Lena Jinx at $7 for me. Corey, you?
No, I'm with Palawa King. I think he's an absolute star. I know there's not much juice in the all-in market. You might be better off just backing him on Saturday night and then backing him the following week once he makes through to the final. But yeah, I just think he's the class runner in the fields and he's the class runner in the series, and I think he's going to be just improving. And Jack Smith's one of the best trainers in the world, really. I'm going to put my faith in him. Going to put my faith in Palawa King.
You feel like you've got an emotional, romantic almost connection with Palawa.
I love watching fast dogs be
fast. There's a glint in your eye when you talk about Palawa King. Right, let's get to another all-in market this time for the rookie rebel, Peacock. What does this one look like?
Yeah, Hector Fawley is your favourite, $4.50. Fast Minardi has been really well supported, $4.80. Kane Bale, $5. Al's Entity at $6. Like Wildfire, geez, amazing to see $7 next to that name after how impressive he had been when he came down to Victoria. Stomping at $7 also. Homebrew at $8 and Raiders Guide at $8 also. Pretty condensed market. There's numerous chances here. Look, Hector Fawley, $4.50. He was to produce some of his Hume Cup sort of stuff. He'd be awfully hard to resell, but I like stomping at sevens.
The thing that you're taking with your Hector Fawleys, your Kane Bales, is you've got to get them beaten. They're not allowed to run top two this Saturday night in the Australian Cup semi-finals.
Yeah.
So if they don't run top two, then they're eligible for a rookie rebel. So maybe just hold fire if you're keen on those selections. But
They should run top two.
They should run top two, looking at the race, at least one of them. But I'm with Raiders Guide. I'm with the Tasmanian in this one. I know the other Tasmanian, Fast Minardi, was really impressive at the Meadows on Wednesday night, but I'm happy to take Raiders Guide. It ran second to Hector Fawley in the Hume Cup late last year, and I think he's gone from strength to strength. He's been dominating down in Tasmania. He'll come back, and I think he'll be really hard to beat, and I think $8 on offer is a reasonable price.
I mean, you make a really good point. $4.50 and $5. How could you? Hector Fawley or Kane Bale? It'd be very hard, wouldn't it? Unless you back both of them in the hopes that one of them misses out the top two.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have potentially the biggest chance. But I'm with stomping as well. So that's two stompings. That's one tuck, one no tuck for the Seinfeld fans. That's two stompings and one
Raiders Guide.
One Raiders Guide. Raiders of the Lost Ark. We've got Indiana Jones with us here in the form of Corey Smith from Meadows. Right, Australian Cup all-in market. Let's have a squeeze at this. Explicit,
no
$5 for the Phoenix, $3.50 here. Talk us through it. There you go.
No surprise here. Explicit, top of the market, $3.50. And your favourite, Tim Zoo, drawn beautifully in the semi. It's $7.50. Alpha Zulu, $8. Also $8 is Morton and Past the Bucket, $8s. Hector Fawley, $8.50. Kane Bale, $10, and Shimmer Current at $14. I'd like to see a few more of the long odds plays in there, maybe around those $30 and $40 pops, because...
I'm sort of team at the back who've got pages 2 and 3.
No, I'm not trying to...
No, okay.
I'd just love to see, what some of the greyhounds are that are $30 and $40, because the list of greyhounds in the semis is phenomenal. They're as deep as you'll see. So, look, really, really even market there, and no surprise, explicit top of your list at $3.50. Just
quickly, because I'm going to ask this question for a specific reason, right? You've got 4 semi-finals.
Yep.
I reckon if you're going into an all-in market and looking for big value, you're looking for maybe the weakest semi-final to try and know you're going to get through, because that's part of the equation. I know there's 4 instead of 8, so for Melbourne Cup, where you have to win, but you want to be in the big dance if you're going to play into an all-in market. So semi-final 1, 2, 3, 4 off the top of your heads. Which one is maybe the weakest?
Oh, I think they're pretty even. I would think maybe
1.
Was it? Yeah, maybe 1. Might be one of the easier ones, but at the same time, you've got quality throughout. I don't think we can really pinpoint, to be honest. I think they're actually really well graded. These
Are you talking about Ike Bale and Morton, Storm Stroller?
Yeah.
I reckon the last one, the 4th.
Yeah, right.
I reckon the 4th's the weakest.
Well, there you go.
That's my
You can play Hector Fuller. There's a couple of went on that page, like a Mapunga Award from
I could put a line.
semi-final 1.
I reckon I could put a line through half of them. In
Really?
the field. I could put a line through Tangella, put a line through Umberto, put a line through Tiggerlong Flyer, put a line through My Magic Man, and you'd be left with 4 runners. That's how I'm assessing the race right now. I can't do that with any other race.
All right, we need tips first of all here for the Australian Cup, I reckon. For the Australian Cup qualifiers, or the Australian Cup all-in market, I should say. Did we sort it out who we're going with there?
For the all-in, I think I was.
I've got my all-in.
I was Morton.
You with Morton? That's
American Queen is $34 and $6.50 so each way.
Well, I'm going even longer. I'm going with Mapunga Award. I'm putting my faith in the youngster, and this might be a little bit outrageous. Maybe
You're
it's
upset
a
with
little
me because I
bit.
mentioned that earlier?
No. I'm never upset with you.
Do you own shares in Mapunga Award?
I wish I did. I wish I did, to be honest, because I think he's the most exciting greyhound in the country, Mapunga Award. $41 is a big price. Yep. I know you're getting each way odds in the semi-final. I think if he can just find his way through to the Australian Cup final, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And while his future may be over further, I don't know, but I think he's brilliant enough to get away with it in this series. And it just goes to show the quality of the depth across the whole board, because you're tipping one at 34s, I'm tipping one at 41s, and then you've got Morton in single figures. But he's an absolute star. He's a Group 1 winner. He's an up-and-coming superstar of our sport. So it's going to be an absolute cracking night of racing on Saturday night.
I reckon before we get to closing comments, because you've got a $41 chance and I've got 34, I want to give Peacock a chance to have a glory selection as well. It's something at massive odds because, you
really put the heat on me here.
I'm trying to help you.
Yeah, well, I'm just dragging up the...
Fredo, I'm trying to help you
dragging
here,
up
my brother.
the odds now for on Sportsbet. Let's go...
Anyway, a small musical interlude. I'm going to see.
Were you with American Queen?
Yeah.
At 34s?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad play. Give me Piscopo Bale 61s.
61s.
Beautiful. There we go. There's the value selections from us.
That's been a lot of fun, to be honest. I'm sure I did a better job than Jimmy Vandermark, but I could beat him. And I'm sure I could beat him at tennis as well.
He's probably playing.
But if he did take the top off when we played, I'd be a bit distracted.
I reckon there'd be a bit of reflection off that white body of his.
He says he can play. I'll tell you what, my inside out forward.
I reckon
if he can chase that down.
I reckon you'd be able to see the cyclone fencing straight through his stomach. It'd be transparent, big Jim Vandermark.
This will be the last podcast of the Sportsbet Australian Cup Series. Rightio, closing comments. Peacock, first of all, to you. It's going to be another great night. You love the greyhounds. We all love the greyhounds. And you feel like it just rolls on. We had such a great summer through the Dream Chaser series. And now we've got these 3 wonderful weeks. And just, it's amazing to see these elite greyhounds and how long their careers are going. Because I'm looking at so many of these runners and you think, I really know and love these greyhounds very much.
Yeah. It's as Corey said, we love to see fast greyhounds run fast times. And they're the nights you want. These are the ones that the weather will be 31 degrees or something along the lines of that. It'll be nice and toasty. You can go out to the Meadows, have a couple of beers and watch some of the best compete against the best, and for really good money and the chance to make a really big race, or big races. So these are the nights that I love. I love sitting back and watching them. Not that I get the chance every now and then just to sit down and watch race after race, but it is going to be a cracking night of racing. A
wonderful night of racing. And I always talk about in the AFL world that preliminary final weekend is often more exciting than the grand final. Now, we'll build up to next week as well, but seeing them all go around and the fact that you can miss out on the anticipation and the risk and the threat, I love all of that, Corey.
I thought we were going to go down the path of talking about how Collingwood's going to win the flag again in 2024, but I'm happy to...
It seems overwhelmingly likely from mine, but yes.
I'm happy to stick to the greyhound racing at this stage.
Hang on, I'm just worried about winning a final with Essendon first. So don't you guys start with the Collingwood banter.
It's going to be, as we've spoken about all night, it's going to be such a good night of racing, and it's going to be a good night out on track. The weather will be beautiful. We'll have a kids' night on as well out at the Meadows, so there'll be families everywhere. There'll be inflatables, magic shows, all that sort of fun stuff. So hopefully we'll have a nice and big crowd on course, and the atmosphere will be electric for what is a cracking night of racing.
And you'll be rolling around, so anybody who wants to come and say hi to Corey Smith from the Meadows, you'll be around, won't you? And you are generous. You give out autographs and stuff, don't you?
I don't know about an autograph, but I might have to buy everyone a Fanta.
For the Fanta Bale Stayers final.
There's no Superstars, there's no finals. Well done, mate. Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Peacock. Great to catch up with you again. It's great to be locking horns once more, and great to have so many party pups. So we're aligned in a lot of the races and a couple of the all-in markets, and that gives punters confidence. So
it's going to go
with
one way.
Sportsbet and dominate.
It's going to go one way or another, isn't it? We're going to come back and be stoked with winners in all, or we're going to end up, not finding any.
We're partying after the last, or looking for the exit to try and run away from the punters for whom we've lost all their money. That's been the vodcast for the Australian Cup Series Night 2. It's going to be an absolute belter, but it all winds up to the weekend after, of course. But if you want to bet on the Australian Cup Final and also the Sportsbet Fanta Bale and the Rookie Rebel, you've got to watch it this weekend, thanks to Corey Smith from the Meadows. Not just Corey Smith, Mitch Ebeyer, the Peacock, and also the Bond Banger back in town. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we found you some winners.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.